Welcome. It's Dawn with For Grace Creations, and today, oh my, I have some wonky, kooky idea, kind of an experiment that I thought we could just try together because, well, it might be fun. But first, our Bible verse of the day. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Psalm 34:8. And these cards have something on the back. Let's see what it has. Draw or write about all the good blessings in your life right now. Then spend some time praising God for his goodness as shown to you. That's a good one. Taste and see that the Lord is good. We're going to set that aside. So what will we need for this project? Well, the basics that we're going to need is water and a paintbrush, some PVA glue watered down. It's just Elmer School glue. And paper scraps of all shapes, sizes, and colors. And then I'm going to maybe try some fabric scraps. I don't know how it'll work. This first idea, I have a cereal bag liner and some tissue paper. So we're just going to cut a piece of tissue paper to fit that plastic and spread a bunch of glue around and then just start plopping down our paper scraps. And again, it doesn't matter what shape or size, but after you've got a few of them down, grab that glue again and dump a little on top, and there we go. And then use your paintbrush to spread it around, and then go back to filling your page with paper. And it'll be a wet mess that we need to dry. Now, I want to try another one. Again, I'm just using these paper scraps, but look, I've got a silicone mat on the bottom this time. No tissue paper. Do you see that? The glue's going directly on the mat. And I'm just spreading the glue and putting paper down. And yeah, we will put glue on top again, but I'm just using these strips that were sitting here. I don't know. Most of us have quite a bit of strips. So yeah, just squish glue down on that silicone mat, place your paper scrap over, and then work on getting glue over top of all the paper. Now, am I overlapping these? No, not this time. I'm just kind of laying them next to each other. And this one, I'm not going to use any fabric. The first one I did. I used fabric and paper. This one, just paper. And again, do your whole surface. Doesn't matter what size you've got. Just fill your surface. And then, yes, it is going to be a big, fat, wet mess. But again, we're experimenting. It's okay. Just set it aside to let it dry. Mine probably will take overnight. Maybe you've got a wood stove. But, oh yeah. Okay, before you set it aside to dry, take your tissue paper and put it on top. This time I'm actually using a napkin. You know, the one layer, when you remove layers from the pretty napkins, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting, I'm sorry, I almost forgot, you guys. I'm putting that one layer on top and then putting more glue over it. Oh, and then it has to dry. I think this will be the last wonky paper experiment, or should we call it kooky paper experiment? I don't know. I want to try parchment paper. If this is our bottom piece, then we could use, this is not big enough, I'll have to grab a bigger piece, but let's try using sewing paper on top. And again, if you don't have sewing paper, just use a napkin or some plain tissue paper, but I want to try this on the bottom surface. And again, just going with scraps, and this time instead of just plain neutrals. Well, let me stop that for just a sec. I'm not using any fabric on this one again. But this one, instead of neutrals, I think we'll use neutrals with a tad bit of pink and see what happens. Now, what can we use this for? This wonky paper? Well, that is a whole nother discussion, because We have to wait for this to dry and see what the texture is and how thick it is and all of that. But my hopes is that it'll be a fun textured paper that we can use as journal covers, or maybe some sort of, signatures in a journal. We could use them to make pockets and tucks, maybe even journaling pages. I have no idea. So again, we are spreading the glue around as a bottom layer, and then you place your paper, and then, let's see, we'll go sideways. And then after you place your paper, just make sure, you get glue on top of your paper. And it doesn't have to be right away. You could, like this, you could just lay down paper. Now this one, I'll overlap them just a little bit and see if that makes any difference or not. Oh, if we're gonna overlap though, they need glue in between, don't they? Yep, they do, Dawn. And some of the paper's wrinkling, but that is okay. Some of it's lifting, that too is okay. Now, I'm noticing this parchment paper is actually wrinkling a bit. I'm assuming that too will be okay. I don't know. This is a wonky paper experiment using up those scraps. So I'll go ahead and fast forward this, as well as maybe do some off camera, because I'm sure you don't want to see me do this part. But I just thought I'd show you that, I'm using scraps again. And here comes, like, this is a piece of envelope from a Happy Mail. And I thought we could use that too. I mean, save your scraps. You can make wonky stuff. Okay, I have it all covered with paper and glue, even though it was getting a little bit wrinkly. And now I'm going to take my paper, this one is sewing paper, but you could use tissue paper again, or napkin, whatever you've got. I just thought I would try this, and we will spread it over the top. And again, make another glue mess. But I'm trying to push gently, and I'm trying to work fast just because it's a video, and I don't want you to sit around and watch the boring part. And what I'll do is I'll let everything sit and dry, and then we'll come back. And what I want to know is this gluey, papery mess going to easily peel off of that cereal box liner, the silicone mat, the parchment paper? I want to see what works best, and then see the fabulous texture we should have when we're done. So I'll be back. All right, are you ready for the big reveal? Okay, remember the first one we did? It was on tissue paper. And so we had the tissue paper first, then glue, then our scraps, and then glue on top of that. And I did use a little bit of fabric. Here it is. So you can see through where I did not get paper or fabric. And it is rough and bumpy. I probably won't do it like this again, just because I don't like this real rough feeling. But the backside is very, very smooth. It does have some really cool color. So that's that one. I would not do tissue paper on the bottom and nothing on top again, just because of the rough. Now, our next one, I had the silicone mat, and I put glue directly on it, then the scraps of paper, and then a napkin. Here it is. It feels so amazing. Oh, by the way, that other one, we had it down on cereal box paper. It did peel off very easily. This one that we did on the silicone mat with just the glue as a base, it too pulled off very easily once it was dry. And the back, the reason it's shiny is from that glue, as well as the fact it was on a silicone mat. But it is very, very smooth, almost like we laminated it, you guys. But the front also has a fabulous texture. I would definitely do that again. Silicone mat, glue, scraps of paper, and then a napkin over top. And then the next one, I had the cereal box liner again. I put down scraps, and then glue, and then napkins, and it peeled off well. Again, the texture with this napkin over top. Ooh, I love it, you guys. Love it. You have to try this. The texture's fabulous. Smooth, again, almost like we laminated it. So crazy. Okay, and then the next one I have was done on silicone mat. The back is smooth again. Wonderful, a little bit shiny. The front, this one, instead of napkin, we used sewing paper. And I love how it kind of gives it, a vintage look. That is wonderful. The last one, I will not ever do again. We used not wax paper, it was parchment paper. I do not recommend using parchment paper. So remember how it was getting wrinkly as I was putting the glue and things on it? Okay, it's not 100% dry, but almost. I mean, you can see a little wet. I just was tired of waiting, not gonna lie. The front, it does feel really cool. And again, the sewing paper makes it look fabulous, especially with the colors in there. But the back, what happened, it is actually, when I pulled it off, it didn't pull off easily like the other two things, the silicone mat and the cereal box liner. It actually tore some of it, and wherever it had wrinkled, yeah, it's wrinkly. Look, see that divot there? So it's not quite as smooth. I do, again, need to let it finish drying, but yeah, I won't do it like that again. So I'll set this aside to dry. But my thought with all of these others is that maybe in another video, we can play with them and see the different ways to use our Kooky paper. We're calling it Kooky Paper. I'm just, wow. It's so, so smooth. Yeah. So I'm going to do some more of this with my scraps. I mean, it's fabulous. So again, save those cereal box liners or grab a silicone baking mat. I think I got mine at Walmart, but you can get them on Amazon, and just search for the silicone baking mat. So that is all for today. The experiment, most of it worked, just not on parchment paper. And then wax paper is a whole nother story. I would not do wax paper either. I'm not even going to try that because I happen to know it's not going to peel off. I just already know that. So yeah, Kooky paper. So we'll be back, let's say maybe a day or two, and that'll give you time to try this at home. And then we will do some things with this, and maybe I'll call it Kooky paper, now what? Something like that. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you very soon. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.